Hello my darlings, today we get another Bakugou fanfic in. I hope you like this one. But before I dive right into it, I would like to remind you to watch the video until the end. Like or dislike, comment something down below. Because this enhances my standing in the YouTube algorithm. And that would be great if you could do that. Yeah, let's get right into it. Evenings at the UA dorms were usually the most quiet of times. But tonight was different. Kirishima and your boyfriend Bakugou were having a serious fight. But no one actually cared to ask them what the problem was, including you. You tried to avoid the redhead at all costs when Bakugou was mad at him, since Bakugou got super jealous whenever he was mad. However, because of the two boys constantly shouting like apes and marauding through the halls, no one got an ounce of peace. Of course, Shoto could have done something with his quirk, but he still wasn't back from a visit to his dad's agency for family reasons. The tussle with Kirishima lasted until very late in the noon and early night hours. Until Sarah had gotten enough and flat out threatened to call Aizawa, which the entire class saw as the equivalent of nuking a city. Ironically, about 5 minutes later was Todoroki's return, leading to a collective groan from the entire class. But you were just glad it was over. Finally, you were able to leave your room and get something to drink. You shifted through the cabinets and the fridge. While your quirk was powerful, it was also somewhat of a disability. And gross. Your quirk was called Queen of the Butterflies, which was a mouthful. While it allowed you to acquire the abilities of certain insects, primarily butterflies, it also made any food that wasn't completely covered and or filled with sugar entirely indigestible to you. Finally, you found your object of desire. An expensive soda that Lunch Rush himself made in only a single family-owned factory. In fact, you only knew because your dad worked in it. At first, you filled a glass with it, and after it wasn't quite satisfying you, you just opted to X the entire bottle. Once it was empty, your body felt dizzy for a moment, as it felt the carbonated liquid release a giant belch. Your eyes began to water as you desperately dashed back to your room, trying to keep it in. Right when you reached your door, it came out. It hurt and stank of strawberries. Kaminari, who was at the time the only one in the common room, gave a complimentative shout before you entered your room with a deep blush. Right now, you wanted nothing more than to die. A few more hours went into the rest of the day, and just when you finally had decided to go to sleep, you heard the buzzing of your phone. With a groan, you unlocked it and were greeted with a dick pic. The accompanying text simply stated, "Told you mine's bigger, shitty hair." Your lower lip quivered, and your face heated up. And then, both the image and text were gone, followed by a voice message. Sorry, babe. Wrong person," came Bakugou's voice. A disappointed sigh escaped you when you realized you didn't even look who the person was to send it. What now? Were you supposed to be disappointed? Angry? Happy you got to see it in the first place? And would that make you a pervert? Another voice message plopped up.
You didn't save it, did you?
In your flustered state, you simply shook your head and then realized he wasn't there to see it. You typed a quick no. Waited for the reply. His next message said,
Do you think I should send it to Shitty Hair?
Once again you blushed. Why would I want my boyfriend sending a dick pic to a guy? A guy whose girlfriend just happens to be my best friend. Following that, there was silence, until you heard a knocking on your door.
Babe, it's me.
You walked up to the door and before opening it said, Don't get any ideas, Kak-chan. I don't want to see it.
It's fine,
he growled.
Just feel like I need to explain this to you.
Why was he sounding so chipper? You let him in after sighing out loud. He proceeded to go sit on your bed, but you grabbed the back of his shirt. Pervs like you sit on the ground and apologize before being allowed to sit on any bed. After both of you got in position, it was finally time to hear him out. Kneeling at the front of your bed, he first apologized.
It was this uncanny ability to get the worst aspects of me out. Similar to Deku. And it's just way too much fun hanging out with him.
He began.
Like, didn't you ever have that?
You nodded and crossed your legs. You always became like a gossipy valley girl when you were within your friend group, consisting of Mina, Momo, and Koji, of all people. Sure, Koji didn't say much, but he was like the mascot of your little clique. And what was this all about? You asked. He bowed his head so deep that he actually hit the floor.
He said he will be a better lover than me because his you-know-what is bigger than mine.
You snorted and suddenly Bakugou's voice became soft.
And it felt like a challenge.
Not to my manliness, but to my relationship with you. You tilted your head and let him finish.
I mean, shouldn't a good boyfriend strive to be the best guy his girlfriend has ever seen? So by implying his is bigger, he basically said that he would be a better lover than me, and I just couldn't accept that. Yes, we are friends, but that was low. Like, really low.
He paused for a minute, and just when you were about to open your mouth to say something, he continued.
I know for him this was all a joke, and really only got serious for me and him in the last 10 minutes. But got serious. I was mad. Please forgive me.
After a quick sigh, you replied with, You don't have to be better than any guy I've ever met. When I was a kid, I met All Might in the mall, after he had just apprehended a thief, so I highly doubt you'll ever surpass that. You smiled. Not that I wouldn't like to see you try. In your head you added, and fail to it.
This was a blunder. I didn't expect.
But I gotta admit, this was a blunder I didn't expect from you. You looked away with an audible humph. Mostly so he couldn't see your smile. Because you realized you could milk this incident for at least a week. Maybe even a month. If we are to stay together, unless I ask you, or tell you to, no more dick pics. He sharply inhaled. Also, tomorrow you go buy me that new keychain I liked so much. You glance at him. He had a dumbfounded look on his face. You two had recently went on a shopping date. You had squealed about anything, including a small heart-shaped keychain covered in glitter. But every time he asked you,
want me to buy it for you?
You had declined.
Keychain?
He asked. Did you seriously forget that? You playfully pouted.
Okay, I buy it. I will buy you the keychain,
he pleaded. Good, you mumbled. And after that, we see what happens next. Thinking you were done chewing him out, he stood up to leave. Wait, you growled after him. He spun around, worried smile plastered across his face. You forgot to say good night, and I love you. You gave him another pout, and he grinned from ear to ear.
Love you, babe. Good night.
When you turned again and began to twist the doorknob, you said, more quiet, but still loud enough for him to hear, Also, I think yours is bigger. He didn't say anything and closed the door behind him. Then, behind the door, you heard him exclaim, "Fuck yeah!" in the hallway.